everyone, it's day 3 of Eurovision Rehearsals 2021, and we've had quite a big experience from Rotterdam today, so we're going to crack on. We've got another 9 songs to talk you through. We're going to find out who was the lucky one, who's had their last dance, who made me go, oh my God, and who filled you full of adrenaline, which takes us nicely on to Act 1 this morning. Much anticipated. Was Flow Rider going to turn up, or did we get Faux Rider? Let's find out from Kyle as to what his thoughts were.
Yeah, it was a really entertaining opening to the day, actually. I think it looked quite, there's a lot going on stage, I will say that, but I really loved how they were able to incorporate the element from the video of the Lazy Susan onto the stage. And they didn't seem to have too many issues with it. It seemed to flow quite well. She liked cheering up the non-crowd, which I think was fun. But yeah, it was a bit odd, the visuals at the start. I'm not sure if they really need that. I don't think it really added anything apart from a what's that moment. But it was really competent. She sounded good. And yeah, I think it's a great up to the show. I was actually quite impressed.
Yeah, so it was a interesting start to the day. The opening part where she comes on with a it's like a picture of Jesus or something, or Mary or something. She's got some sort of religious photography on her. And then obviously one of the issues was she going to be able to sort of sing well and also carry a room, because obviously it's a big auditorium and she needs to have some power in her voice, and I think she really carried it off pretty well. Obviously halfway through we had the is it Flow Rider, is it Faux Rider, and we had the stand-in, but he was okay. He knew all the words, so that's a start. But he obviously knew where to be, and he worked out quite well. But I think my expectations of it were met. I think it had to reach a certain bar because obviously it's got a lot of hype, and it's not often you get someone as famous as Flow Rider at Eurovision, so it obviously had to be something that hit the spot, and I think it did. So let's get some predictions on Senhi and Faux Rider. Anne?
Oh, qualifier. Yeah, I still think it's going to qualify. It was a bit bizarro, but qualification, no problem.
Joe?
Yep, sailing through.
Okay, and David and Carl?
Yeah, I was never as much of a fan of this as I think a lot of people were, but I think it's got enough to get through. Yeah, but maybe not to the top 3 as some people are wildly saying, but yeah, qualify.
And I agree with that completely. I don't think it's anywhere close to the top end of the scoreboard, but I do think it will get through maybe 7th, 8th place. Okay,
that's quite low, but it's still pretty safe in 7th, I would have guessed. All right, okay. But yeah, we'll watch that one with interest. So second on, obviously not always the best slot to have in a semi-final, and that honour this year goes to Estonia. Uku Zavist on the lucky one. Now, in honour of Uku, obviously I've worn a white shirt today, and let's see if anyone else enjoyed it as much as I did. So Joe, you got the pleasure of starting us up on Uku.
Yeah, so I don't think the second place starting point is as much of an issue in the semi-finals from past experience than the final. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think the issue he's going to have is actually getting people to really engage with this song. He's on his own in a huge stage, and he does not move. He's very, very static in the performance. Vocally, he's absolutely fine, and we know that he can sing. But I don't know, I mean, you've got the synths and the kind of sort of flashes of lightning, and it gives a real kind of sort of dynamic to the kind of sort of audio within the track. But I just want to see something with that, even if it's just kind of like a passionate air grab or just some emotion. But very static, very kind of sort of, yeah, lacking in much. I mean, it might be that he's holding back on some of that with it being the first rehearsal. But from what I saw today, it just didn't look like he was having fun out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him practice at ESCBubble before, and he never usually looks like he's having that much fun. I think my problem is sometimes when you have a song written for you, you have to like connect to it, and I don't really feel there's much of a connection between him and the song, and he's not really telling me a story, or he feels particularly strongly about it. I mean, yeah, it looked good. It wasn't that different from what we saw in Estonia, and the red bit that had been added sort of halfway through near the climax, that looked pretty effective. But you're right, he's not moving about very much. And
interestingly, he is on the writing credits, so I mean, how much he's actually brought to authoring the song, I don't know, but he is named as a as a writer.
Uku, if you wrote 80% of the song, I apologise now. And yeah, sorry, Uku. Right, let's move on to predictions quickly before I accuse him of anything else. So, David and then Carl.
Yeah, so I think he could easily become the first ever person to come 12th in both the televote and the jury and still get through because of the disparity elsewhere. But I'm going to say in qualifier to be safe.
Yeah, I do like the driving beat of it. I think that comes through quite well, but I just don't think it has enough to get enough widespread support. I think it'll be forgotten. No qualifier.
Okay, Anne?
Yep, no qualifier here as well. The best thing about it is Uku himself, but that's not enough.
Joe?
Yeah, it's a dead duck.
The dead duck. Okay. Well, this one quacked for me. I've just realised I didn't write down a prediction for it, so I better make one up on the spot. I'll put it as non-qualifier for now. Maybe he can listen to some of our feedback, given obviously we're being very constructive, obviously, as we always are. So third on was Benny Cristo and Omega, and you know, he had a very lively opening. He looked very sharp. And David, do you want to talk us through what you thought of Benny?
Yeah, sure. So I have always loved this song. So I'm warning that I might be completely biased because of how much I love the song. Benny Cristo is such a good performer. The run through that we saw, I only saw one. I don't know if my laptop was glitching, but I only saw one run through. He wasn't really singing it at all. He was kind of speaking the words for most of it. He didn't really. He was saving his voice. He wasn't trying. It's the first rehearsal, fair enough. But what did look completely slick was his movement, the dance routine, the connection he had with the others. I liked that he starts off stage and comes in as well. I thought that was a nice little touch. And I think he just really draws you in. And I think that's what's going to excel the song in the same way that Lake Malawi in 2019 had it won the jury vote in the semi-final because he was just such an intense performer and you just fell in love with him. Okay, the televote didn't, but we'll move quickly on. But yeah, I think we haven't seen a final version of it, but what we have seen is pretty positive, I would say. I hope.
And was it Omega or Nomega for you?
No, it was an Omega for me as well. I can see the potential, and I know that they're looking at how to improve it as well. It's by no means the finished product we've seen yet. Benny is so engaging, and if you go onto ESCBubble and have a look at the interview that Kane did with Benny a couple of days ago, just so charismatic and just an excellent character. A bit of it came out in the third run through when at the end he gave a cheeky little smile and a wink to the camera, which was just, and I just think there's more to come. I don't think we've seen anywhere near. I think second rehearsals we'll start to see. We just basically saw the bare bones of it today.
Okay, let's do some predictions. Joe?
Yeah, I think is ever so likeable, and I think he will qualify. Not necessarily that comfortably, but I think he's got enough to make it.
Okay, Carl and David?
Yeah, a bit underrated, I think, by the people still so far. I think this has got enough to make it through. I think it's got that engagement factor, and I think he's a real plus for it. So yeah, I think this can do it qualifying.
Agree. Not too comfortably, but I think you'll get through.
Yeah, same here. Maybe 7th, 8th, 9th, but you're still going to get through. And that for the Czech Republic is a win.
There's not enough slots in the semi-final for 10 qualifiers, including Czech Republic. So I've got it as a non-qualifier for now. Although I am slightly biased. I'm not a great fan of the song, to be honest with you. But, you know, let's see. I mean, we've got some... He's got Greece on afterwards, which obviously is a huge show. It's a very televisual event. There's lots of bits, one from previous Eurovision acts you're going to be able to see. And Joe, tell us what you thought of Stefania today.
Yeah, for me, this was the highlight of the day. I thought the Greek rehearsal was fantastic. I think it's probably everything they were hoping for. So they have got some technical elements that they're incorporating. They've got some green screen dancers. If you kind of sort of think, you know, Sergei Lazarev in 2016, that kind of thing where they're kind of sort of moving, you know, up the stage. And she was fantastic. Vocally, she was, you know, pretty much there. Perhaps a couple of notes that could do with just a tiny bit of work, but I thought it was outstanding. The whole production, it looked like they were creating a music video, So how that will come across on a TV screen, because you'll think you're watching the video rather than actually seeing the live performance, they might need to kind of sort of do something a bit like Kate Miller-Heidecker did, just to show actually this is a stage performance, because there are parts where it does really look like a music video, and I think that's what they've aimed for, that's what they've got, and I think absolutely everything worked perfectly for them. I think they'll be really pleased.
I only saw the first 7, so I can't judge the last 2, but this was everything. This was the best rehearsal I'd seen up until, and I know you guys are going to talk about the last 2 later, but this was incredible. You know, from the moment she came on stage, she's alone on stage first of all. You just don't know what's coming at that point, and then suddenly when it kicks into gear, she's off around that set. She's up the stairs. She's floating around. She's got a dancer, hologram guys. I think they're real guys, but they're made to look like holograms from what we've seen. So it's just incredible. She sounds good. I mean, we knew she could sing from some of the stuff she's been doing lately, but you know, she's belting it out. Yeah, tiny little tweaks maybe on some of the last notes, but she's definitely got it in her. And if this doesn't qualify, well, this is my new favorite, I think. Sorry, Azerbaijan, but after today, this is just, I love it. It's fantastic. And let's do some predictions. If anybody's known qualifying this, I will have words after. Right. So, David, go first.
Sailing through top 3.
Carl?
Yep. I've never been a huge fan of it. I thought it was okay, but this really elevated it. Really like it now. I think it's great. Sailing through.
Okay. And
Spoiler, it's my grower of the day, because I wasn't particularly a fan, but there's enough special effects in there to make it superb. It's a qualifier.
Joe?
Yeah, I don't know in what universe people think that Malta is better than this, because for me, this is the class of the field when it comes to the female pop songs. It's absolutely sailing through, possibly winning the semi.
I mean, even if you judge it on quality of song, the staging for this is just a lot more effective to me than Malta's, although I did enjoy Malta's as well. So yeah, big fat queue from here as well. So we had the lunch break as usual, and then we moved on to the first part of the afternoon. I didn't see Vincent's second run through, but I did see the third. So I will know what you're talking about, hopefully. But Anne, you can talk us through first of all as to whether you were on your knees saying amen.
Not for the first time. This is a tricky one for me, because I can see, like David likes to say, about a path for qualification, and I can see how that could happen with this. And it's all terribly earnest. There's a verse which is nothing. He's just chuntering on about something or other. And then there's the chorus, which is anthemic and great. I had real issues with the lights, though. I mean, read the blog if you want to see exactly what my issues were. But he's got these spotlights either side of him coming down in a column, and it makes it look like they're empty shelves in a supermarket. And so he's just walking down this aisle in the middle of the night in a supermarket with nothing on the shelves. It's really weird. But saying that, the last 20 seconds, he's got this big anthemic-y, gospel-y thing, which I think would be jury bait 100%. So televote, not so sure. Jury's, I think, from a Austria 2018 perspective, might lap it up. So yeah, that's still not one of my great favourites, but I can see a path.
Going in your shopping analogy, Carl, is this Waitrose or is it Poundland?
It's definitely more on the Poundland level, I would say, for me. Yeah, I think I don't get what so he's elevated on this catwalk plinth thing, which is very long in the entire length of the stage, but it doesn't really add anything. And in effect, it just means that he's static and stuck there, and he can't get out and move around like Cesar Sampson did, and he was in the air for a lot of it. It just feels very stilted then in that sense. The lighting is okay, but yeah, it doesn't really add anything. I felt quite uninspired by it. It's quite ploddy. He sounded okay for most of it. A few of the low notes were a little bit dodged, but rehearsal, forget that. Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Lithuania 2019 Run with the Lions, in that it kind of just passed its by, really. It might get some jury love, but I don't think it's going to get enough to get it to that 10th spot.
Okay, let's see if people are going to make a bold prediction. And Joe, you can go first.
Nah.
To the point.
Okay. David.
Yeah, it has a path, as Anne said, but fails the 60-second test. Too many male ballads. It's not going to qualify.
Yeah, I think there is a big tree in this path, and I don't think it's getting around it non-qualifying.
That's about your path, Anne. Have you got one?
No, I'm still low. I'm going to say no because there's so many good songs to come and I can't have them all in, so something's got to go. So if he misses out, it will be just out. I'll say no.
I'm loath to like compare it to, say, you know, previous like gospel soul type songs do tend to like them. But David makes a good point. It takes a long time to get going. The last minute was quite spectacular. I need to actually give a prediction, so I have got qualified down for this. And let's move on quickly. Right, so we then moved on to Poland. Now, obviously, we've got two 80s themed songs in the first half of this semi-final. And after the grand spectacle of Greece, Rafał wasn't really bringing the budget out from Poland, was he, Anne, with the ride?
Dear God, if that's that, oh dear, it's a ride, but not. It was like a ghost train ride rather than a ride of your life. It was horrific. And I don't think I'm being too strong when I say that. For a singer, he's a great TV presenter. He just should never be given a microphone, ever again. Take it away from him now. He's, when the backing track comes in, it's such a relief to the ears. And then he goes and ad-libs over it. And it's like, stop. Just stop. I loved the pink and blue neons because give me the 80s vibe every day. But the guy is not a singer. Send him home. It's dreadful.
The song's been growing on me. I didn't intend it to do, but it just has been. The chorus is pretty catchy. I've got to say though, that last minute of each rehearsal is the worst minute of the competition so far. It was horrendous. It was I don't know if he's like just like practicing something that he wants to try out maybe at a later point or just seeing if it works, but it's just absolutely horrendous. And you know, there was a certain other song I really didn't like, but this performance is just not it. I mean, visually it just looks, it's got sort of like the pinks and the purples, same as Greece, but it just looks so cheap. I mean, if we're talking about Poundland, this is reduced sticker in Poundland. It was just,
it's not even charity shop.
No, it's not. No, I don't even know if you couldn't even give away.
It's more like council dump, isn't it?
I definitely put it out in the trash. Now, hopefully it improves on the second go, but if those vocals don't improve, I feel soon it's not happening, mate. Sorry. So we're gonna have to do some predictions. Who is on the ride with this one? Joe.
It's possibly the worst thing I've ever seen. So no.
You shocked me, right? David.
I'm in the minority because I think it is not that bad, apart from the ad-lib at the end, but it's still not going to qualify.
Yeah, really, really messy. Nothing really came together at all. I can't see it getting there, non-qualifier.
You're interviewing him in the week, David, so it's probably best to keep options open. Anne?
Oh, hailing through. Yeah, no, definitely not. Send it home. Yeah.
Yeah, non-qualifier. I'm not even going to say any more about it. Right. So we then moved on to another colourful, I guess, performance. We had Moldova, Natalie Gordienko, Sugar. Now, obviously, this has got the Kirkorov money behind it. Whether it had the Kirkorov money on the staging, I am going to let Kyle elaborate on.
Yeah, well, maybe the dancers were all really expensive. Yeah, if there is money, it's not really been put on the performance. The video has so many elements of fun and quirkiness that would have been so good to see on stage, but it doesn't seem to have been brought forward. It's very square and pink, and that's about it, really. It doesn't excite me. It kind of passes you by. It's okay. It's there. It's competent, but it doesn't stand out. And with Moldova, we like to see something. You know, we know they can do a great stage, engaging performance that really sticks in your mind. But this was just not it. It was nice to hear. There was some good backing vocals in the recording as well. I'll say in that. Yeah, it just didn't do it for me. It's okay, but yeah, pretty meh.
So, Joe, were you sweet on this, or are you going to be salty as?
No, I was quite sweet on this. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting them to throw absolutely everything at this. I thought it was going to be pink. I thought we were going to have the ice cream cones. We were going to have the absolute lot. And I'm actually really pleased that they've kind of sort of scaled it down, and they've taken the bits out of the video that I think are actually what are the really important things that they've got for this song. And I think it's those beats, the dance moves, the dancers that she has with her, and actually keeping it kind of sort of simple, I think actually kind of works for the song. She sang it really well. I thought the vocals were good. She really held off on the 15-second killer note. I think that's going to be held back right the way through to the live shows, and that will be make or break. It's kind of sort of Lindsay Drakas kind of territory as to whether or not she'll hit it or not. And it is one of the most ambitious notes that I think we've ever had in Eurovision. So that's the thing I really want to see, and that's the thing that will, you know, make me realise if this is going to fly or if it's going to flop.
You're right. It's really hard to predict without hearing that note properly. But we'll let Anne have a go at predicting first, whether she thinks it's...
It was really disappointing. I don't think it's sailing through. I think it's like, and it will get there, but it's going to be a slow old journey. But yeah, you're right. The killer note, 15-second one, I did time it. That's going to be the make or break.
Okay, David?
For me, the worst of the day, it made me feel physically sick, actually, motion sickness with all the spinning. I had to go stand outside the balcony. But yeah, it all qualified as a Kirkorov, undeservedly, personally.
Yeah, a bit underwhelmed, but I think it's got enough to qualify. I can't see it doing anything in the final, but I think it can sneak through. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Qualify.
Okay. Joe?
So I think this might be a shock non-qualifier unless she really pulls that note out of the bag.
I think it can non-qualify. I still think it will qualify. If we get our old 9 to 12 scale out, it's somewhere in there for me. So I'd have it more 9 than 12 though. So I'm going to be cautious and just keep it as a low qualifier for now. But yeah, it's not out of the running, definitely. So we had another afternoon break, and then the two I missed, you're going to elaborate on for me now, because I'm really keen to hear about Iceland, because I opened up Betfair afterwards and the odds had crashed. So what made that happen, David?
Daddy Fred, we knew he had it in him. Like, he is a genius. Last year, I think this really just confirmed what we all thought, that he would have walked the competition last year if he had been able to replicate anything to this level of success. For me, it's the first one, and this gets thrown around so much, but it's the first one that really did give me winner vibes. It looked fantastic. It felt fun, but remaining serious, and still the composition of the song. It was quirky. They're just lovable. The band of merry men behind him, merry men and women, fantastic. And the instruments they had as well, innovative, beautiful. Honestly, I can't tell you how much I really enjoyed the performance, and it's made the song go from about my 10th probably into my top 5, and I think casuals and first-time viewers are going to absolutely lap it up. And yeah, I'm glad I got a bet on it when it was still at 25 to 1.
Not bad. Anne, are you going to be remembering this in 10 years?
Oh, 100%. 100%. This is my number 2 song of the whole contest, and it has been for quite a good few weeks now. And I love the way we all thought we knew what we were going to see when he came on stage, because we've seen the video and we've seen and we do the dance and everything. But he uses both stages. He uses the walkway between the stages with that big LED backdrop on the walkway bit before he gets to the second stage, I think it is. And it's fabulous. And should we do the spoiler about the instruments, David? I don't know. Yeah. The backing keyboardists, they have these curved keyboards, and then when Dathi and the singers go to the side stage when the choir kicks in, and you see the backdrop with computer animated choir, then the 3 keyboards slot together into a circle, and it sort of whizzes back to the main stage, and you see them all in their circle doing the keyboard bit, and it's fun, and you look at it and you go, oh, and it's lovely. And there's so many things like that. When he gets to the line of "You're so fascinating," it comes up in 20-foot high letters on the backdrop of the main stage, and that just makes you go, oh. And there's so many bits that it's wholesome and it's great. You know, it's not slutty, it's not, you know, wow, in your face. It's just wholesome and good enjoyment. And I see this possibly with confetti coming out of the ceiling, if you know what I mean.
Bold. Okay. So yeah, I mean, when we come back for your prediction, I think we know what you might take, but let's see what Joe's predicting.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely qualifying for sure. I'm not sure winner necessarily, but certainly top 5 in the final. This is superb. It's the real deal.
Okay. Prediction, Carl.
Yeah, I've always been a little bit disappointed by the song compared to last year, but after seeing it today, I felt the love. It felt really infectious and catchy, and yeah, I was really impressed. I can see it doing very well. Definite qualifier.
Yeah, we've always said both his past songs as well. It's not until you see them on stage that they became favourites, and I think that today really kind of echoes that. Sailing Through, still my winner pick.
Get the phone out, Anne. Go on.
Yeah, Iceland is the real deal, where Poland's the meal deal. Yeah, qualifier, Sailing Through.
Well, obviously, I'm basing on what you all have said, so I'll stick it on the queue. Seems pretty safe to me. I think I had a bet on it as well, so I think my money's good. Right, so finally, rounding off today is the Hurricane Girls, Loco Loco. Not one that's been my favourite particularly, so I'm open, I'm all ears to hear what Joe thinks of their finale today.
Yeah, I thought it was a competent rehearsal. I did worry that kind of sort of having seen the music video and it had a danger of just, again, throwing too much at it, being garish and too kind of sort of in your face. But actually, I think they've made it a bit classier, I think. And, you know, it's black and white in the backdrop. They look stunning. The choreo is great without being too much to kind of sort of impact the vocals too much. The vocals were a bit hit and miss. The bits that were hit were absolutely fantastic. But quite often, you know, people will latch on to the bits that perhaps weren't quite as good in terms of what they remember. So maybe a little bit of work to do there. But everything else seemed to be fine. Although in the first run, I think one of the girls, I don't know if it was Ksenia or Ivana, had a little bit of a stumble. So I think she kind of sort of tripped on the stage. But that's just one of those things, and you know that absolutely won't happen when it comes to the live shows. So a few things to iron out, but I was pleasantly surprised. So this went up in my estimations in terms of its chances, I think.
Did it meet your expectations, David?
Yeah, so it's probably my number 2 behind what do I love, Italy. So I've always loved this song, and it was the one, to be honest, across all semi-finals, it's the one I'm most nervous about, because you never like to see your favourites crash and burn. Like Azerbaijan today. Sorry, Nick. But I was shocked at, as Joe said, they made it a lot more sophisticated than I was expecting. And at first I was horrified because I was like, oh no, it didn't come across as fun. The stage was empty. I wasn't sure on the white and the black colour scheme. But watching it that for the third run through, it just felt so much more completed. It felt so much more polished. I think the intro really catches your attention with the whites going up and down, and it's almost like they've got their own gateway again. And I think that really catches your attention from the start. I think by the end, it really came together with the smoke machines that drowned out the audio, so they probably have to work on that. But the rockets, I think they look fantastic. Sanya can sing the roof off of any building in the world. And she's fantastic, and just all in all, they've got such great chemistry, and they really made it classy but classy fun. And I think that yeah, I'm very nervous, but they've definitely lived up to expectations, so I'm really hopeful and grateful for that.
Okay, let's do the predictions. Anne?
I'm predicting qualifying. It's come out as a classy thing. It was slightly K-pop reunion concert in places with all the choreography and armography, but it's qualifying.
Okay, Carl?
Yeah, I think in the running order coming after SanMarino and Moldova in terms of the sort of upbeat pop type things is actually going to do them well. I think it's quite slick and it feels the most polished of those three. And I'm fingers crossed that it does, but I'm predicting that it will qualify.
Yeah, likewise, I've got it just scraping through. I think it doesn't have many Balkan friends in the voting, but it does have a lot of diaspora friends, and I think that will get it through on the televote.
Okay, Joe.
So I'd quite like it to go through, but I think I'm just going to say it might just miss out, which is a good thing because I had it as a certain no qualifier before I saw it today, so it has certainly gone up. It's got a chance, but I'm going to err on the side of no.
I'm a doubter like you, so if you're saying it's still on the no side, Joe, I think I'll probably err with you. And like all of the songs we've heard so far, including Azerbaijan, we haven't seen the results yet, so nothing's crashed and burned yet, and Effendi may just pull it out, I hope. Right, so let's do the final bit as we brought in yesterday. So we're going to do the winner, your grower, and your loser, not shower and hide, loser. And we will start with you, Anne. Go for it.
Winner today, Iceland, no question. Grower, for me personally, because I didn't rate it in the slightest, is Greece. And my loser, what do you guess? Should I make a bold prediction on my loser? That'd be Poland.
Joe.
So the winner for me, Greece, absolutely. The grower, I would say actually probably Serbia. Even though I've said a no to qualification, I still think it's grown on me more. In terms of the loser, I'm going to say Austria. Sorry, Vincent.
Okay, Kyle.
Oh. Yeah, winner today, I think I would say Greece. For me, biggest score would be Iceland. That's really probably racked up at 10 places in my ranking now. And biggest loser today, I'm gonna have to say Poland. Really, it just was a mess. Sorry.
Oh yeah, my winner has to be Iceland. I love. I thought it's fantastic. I think biggest grower. It's tough because there's quite a few I'd say. I really loved it anyway, but Greece really shone as something I've now put on the top 10. And then for the biggest loser, I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to say Moldova because for me, just horrendous. Sorry.
Next rehearsal, get out on that balcony. Let it go. It's not worth a headache. No.
I'll need to.
I think it will, yeah. So I'm going to do it based on the first 7, just to be fair. I'm not going to, rank on ones I haven't seen. I think you've more than covered it enough. So my winner today was definitely Greece. It just left the biggest impression on me. I mean, I had decent expectations for it, but it was mind-blowingly good on TV. My grower, I'm going to go for Czech Republic because it's near the bottom of my rankings and it was very competent. He's very engaging. Hair looked good. The staging looked good. I still think he needs to maybe give it a bit more, but I think he's holding something back personally. So there's a decent package there, even if I didn't predict it. And my loser of the day definitely has to be Poland, given that it's been growing on me. It's gone from growing just to blowing. It's off. It needs to go. I don't want to hear it again unless you need to tighten up those vocals because it's a really good song as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's not the greatest song, but it's a good, catchy, on tune, good, well-themed 80s song, and it's just not it at the moment. So that's our wrap for today. We've got the final part of part 1 rehearsals tomorrow, including one of the favourites, Switzerland. Actually, I think we're all quite keen to see, and one of last year's favourites, Bulgaria, who's middling a bit at the moment. So let's see how she gets on, Victoria. So we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for chipping in today, and we will see you then. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Yeah.